What are you thinking when you look at what just happened today? Biggest U.S. bank failure since the '08 financial crisis.
Kelly, to be honest with you, in addition to the shock and surprise, I was just really saddened by it. I really feel that, my heart goes out to those employees, those shareholders, and really those customers too that had this happen. I think just unfortunate and just hope for the best for everyone.
Are you surprised they didn't find a buyer?
I'm not, given the momentum and what was happening there. It did not surprise me that a buyer was not found. Some
have said the bank itself might have made a few missteps here. I don't know exactly what the counterfactual could have been, but obviously they disclosed the loss. Some are even wondering why they sold all of the available for sale portfolio. The deposit flight was sizable, but not enormous, at least up until this week. And then the capital raise, and then some other things. I mean, are there management missteps here? I don't want you to, critique the situation, but to help us understand if this issue is systemic or not. Was this something that you think is unique to SVB, and if so, why?
Yeah. Well, I'm not familiar with the specifics that led to the actions that were taken. I'm frankly not an expert in their business model. What I would say is that it does appear to me that the dislocations we've had with the two companies in Silicon Valley over the last week or so appear to be most directed towards companies with specialized business models, whether it be crypto or whether it be venture capital. And so those have their own, apparently, risk that went along with it. So I think that had a lot to do with it. What I'd like to say is, as relates to the broader picture and community banking in this country, I really feel that the Main Street community banks have business models that are very solid, very well understood. They've got customer bases both on the loan side, but really importantly also on the depository side that are well understood with deep relationships. And I don't expect this to be a problem for America's community banks.
How do you manage interest rate risk in your own portfolio? I mean, the last couple of rate hikes were not exactly a surprise. Some of these portfolios got quite large last year, SVB's in particular. Can you explain what decisions you've made about your exposure, for instance, to treasuries, mortgage-backed securities that might be down in value now?
Right. Well, Kelly, the truth is we're a 155-year-old financial institution that's been through world wars and depressions and the Texas meltdown and pandemics and the great financial crisis. And I can tell you one thing that we have learned, among others, but one of the central things we've learned is that the only liquidity you have in a crisis is the liquidity you bring to the crisis. And so you better have some. And so as you look at how we've managed, we've only lent out about 40% of our deposit base, and we maintain 20% of our deposit base in a checking account at the Federal Reserve. And that's, I like to believe that that's more indicative of what you'll see with community banks, but regardless, it's something that's been really important to Frost as we've met all these challenges through the years, that you've got to have liquidity, and that's what we're doing. That's how we've managed.
Yeah, a fortress balance sheet as well is what, D.A. Davidson, some of the analysts have said covering. I'm surprised that the analyst community, I mean, why weren't these issues more apparent? Even the St. Louis Fed last month is writing a paper about, possible problems from the rate hikes and the impact that's going to have to bank equity, for instance. So was this a known or not? I'm confused.
Kelly, I really couldn't say. Just based upon what we've seen today and the reaction of everyone, it was a big shock. But I'll tell you that rates have been moving up at a tremendous rate, and not many people have seen this kind of increase. And again, some of the business models were a little bit more specialized. So the fact that we're seeing some cracks in the system here and there around the edges probably shouldn't surprise us. And that's why that solid foundational balance sheet of that community bank is so important to our economy overall and our local economies also.